Before we start today's show, today we want to give a big shout out to Buzz TV. Man, Buzz TV has some really good devices, man. Like this last year, they've come up with some good stuff, and this new year, I'm excited to see what they got.
Yo, it's going to be straight fire. Some devices and features, because I don't want to say one or the other. With Buzz TV, it's hand in hand. They've dropped some fire devices and some amazing features that are always taking things to the next level.
So don't forget to check out the description below.
You know, no matter where you guys are listening, watching, whatever from, make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button, that like, drop us a comment, and the reviews actually help us a great deal. If you're looking to do anything for us in this year coming and beyond, the reviews help other viewers like yourself find this podcast and enjoy it as well. So thank you guys. And with all that being said, let's start the show.
And we are back. I gotta tell you, I was talking to Searchflix this last weekend, and he was making fun of me about the chicken wing song.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. And I was like, dude, I don't think they play Fortnite, but I was like, dude, I learned that song because of Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't even know how NxTL and I got onto it. But I'm like, I know he likes chicken wings, so
yeah,
might as well serenade him.
It's interesting that you brought him up, because I was actually reading some of our podcast reviews, and I was reading his last night, and he literally refers to us as Steve and Mark are great. I'm like, what the hell's this Steve and Mark?
Yeah, who's Steve and Mark? Who's Steve and Mark? It's like there's a radio station over here, KLOS, Mark and Mark or something like that, or Mike and Mike, and I don't know. Who's Steve and Mark? Well, if we have a radio station, maybe we'll call it that.
I don't know. Something. It's confusing.
Steve and Mark go beyond.
Oh my God.
Hey, everything is beyond. We started that a spreadsheet to track some stuff for us, and you called it beyond the spreadsheet.
Beyond the.
I didn't even realize it until I saw the email. I'm like, what the hell's this?
When you see it, you know what I mean? It's
When you
either
see it, you know.
beyond or BS. Everything's either beyond or BS. Actually, that's an interesting topic I want to bring up to mention to you, because there's some YouTube channels that have like a Jack A of the day. So I was like, can we find a news article that could be our BS article of the day or something, or BS or BSer of the day?
Well, I can think of one person that consistently hits that, but I'll just leave it alone.
You know, if I was to pick one today, it would probably be the first article we're going to talk about.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, we're going to kick this off. Of course, you guys already know the title. We always title with our first article of what we're going to do. And stay tuned as the show progresses, because there's a lot of good stuff in here. So Roku could lose YouTube TV in standoff with Google. Yeah. For one, let me give you guys a little bit of content. Just a little bit. So I'm barely diving into the whole Roku. They have a sound bar that you could plug in, and it has Roku built into it. It has like it's pretty neat, you know? The biggest thing that I really do like about it is that it's neutral.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't show Amazon Prime everywhere. So not like the Fire Stick. It's not like the Shield where it has Android TV built in, and they're adding ads to that soon. Right. If they haven't already. Actually, I've been noticing on my Shield that I've been seeing some ads every now and then pop up at the bottom. I'm like, what the hell is this? But the way they have it, it's really nice because it's you turn it on, here's the apps, and you click it and go.
Yeah.
That's it. It's almost like having your cell phone. Your cell phone just has the apps. You click it and go. That's it. If you want to create like a widget, or if you want to create some kind of thing where it shows like your featured, your favorites and stuff like that, you could do something like that with your cell phones.
Mhm.
But like with the Nvidia Shield, you could do features and stuff like that, but it kind of, I don't know, it almost like pollutes the screen, doesn't look clean. I just wish it was just apps. So
They don't call it apps on the Roku, do they? They call it channels.
I think they call it channels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they call it channels. But I don't know. Uh, I really like this statement that was made here. It says Google is attempting to use its YouTube monopoly position to force Roku into accepting predatory, anti-competitive, and discriminatory terms that will directly harm Roku and our users. Now, I'm quoting this from a Roku spokesman or a spokesperson. I don't know if it's a man or a woman.
Let's be real. That was their legal team right there.
That was their legal team. Yeah. If it was a man or a woman, this sounds like a woman will say that. I'd be like, mm-mm.
Oh my God. Now, just to
And
clarify, it's YouTube TV, not YouTube in general. So they're threatening to take away their live streaming service from their platform unless they do what? What were they?
I think it was adding a search bar.
Pretty sure. I think it was if they had to add like a Google search bar to their home screen, and Roku's like, no. And I think it goes along the lines, the same thing you were saying. They try to stay as neutral as possible, right?
I like it. I like how they're holding their guns. I hope they stick to their guns. So in a last ditch effort, Roku is calling on their subscribers to reach out to Google to urge them to come to an agreement. To finish the quote on what this spokesperson said, it finishes off with saying it should come as no surprise that Google is now demanding unfair and anti-competitive terms that harm Roku's users. I think it's very interesting how they, like, Google's already a juggernaut.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing as like go search the web. It's always go Google it. You know, they've pretty much monopolized it without really having a monopoly. You know, you got Bing, you got Firefox, you got Internet Explorer, um, Opera, Huawei, Hawaii, whatever it is. You have all these different search engines that you could use, but the term is go Google it. It doesn't matter if you're Android or Apple. It doesn't matter if you're using Microsoft. It doesn't matter. The term is go Google it means go to the web and search for something. So I don't know. This almost reminds me, and it's kind of funny. I was about to say about the 45% thing with Fortnite and all that stuff that they're trying to, charge people. It almost reminds me, it almost reminds me of that, which is interesting because this says here, while smaller than Google as a company, Roku being smaller than Google, Roku currently controls nearly 45% of set-top box viewing time and has significant leverage over apps as a result.
I agree.
Now, it's crazy because the most popular app that we always talk about is Fire Sticks. Everybody talks about Fire Sticks. But when we really started to dig into numbers,
Yeah.
Roku is actually the king of this, which is crazy.
You know, when you first started talking about this, it brought up the conversations that you were having or we were having about Sonos. And when Google was going back and forth with Sonos, and I'm almost at the point now where it's like Google doesn't even care who they're in battles with. It's just keeping their name in everyone's mind. Like it doesn't matter if it's good press or bad press or whatever it is. But I don't hear a lot. Here's the thing. I don't hear a lot of people specifically talking about YouTube TV. I hear people talking about HBO, about, other platforms, but I never hear anybody talking about YouTube TV. And do you imagine if they talked to Amazon, let's say, because Amazon just came out with their new remotes, and they said, "Hey, if you don't put a YouTube TV button on your remote, we're removing the service from your platform." It's the same kind of situation, no?
Yeah.
And that's the wrong way to go about marketing your product. One, they're just trying to push their product in people's faces, but as these companies start to out them, there's going to be backlash, and it's going to turn people away from their service. Like, you got to have some kind of morality and some kind of business ethics. You don't just strong arm the little people just because you have an over $1 trillion business in net worth. It doesn't work that way. Like,
Yeah.
what's the saying? The bigger you are, the harder you're gonna fall.
Yep.
Listen, Bitcoin's bigger than you, Google. Get out of here.
For real.
Now, talking about monopolies that just try to cut the legs out from the little guy. About a week ago, Apple was talking about creating a monetized platform for podcasters, and they would create like subscription platforms where kind of like a members version of YouTube, right? But for podcasters on Apple iTunes or whatever you call it, Apple Podcast. And I believe Spotify is talking about it. I don't know if they've launched it yet. I don't think so, but they're talking about it. They're going to launch a podcast subscription platform. Now, the only difference is that Apple was going to take a cut from the creator, and Spotify's like, no, 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 we support you guys. We got you guys, right? And at first I was like, all right, this is cool. This is cool. Spotify's going to give the creator all of the revenue from the subscriptions. This is dope. And I was like, there's got to be a catch. And as I continue to scroll through my news articles, I seen that they're also going to be raising their general cost of their platform. So I'm like, I mean, general cost of your platforms always go up anyways, but to say that you're going to give your creators all of the money, that's respectful. Like, Netflix started at $5, now we're at 20. Like,
So how would that work then? If let's say I'm like, oh, I have a Spotify premium account. Do I have to pay a separate subscription?
yeah, separate. Wow, why? That's such a tongue twisting
Sep
word.
separate subscription.
Yeah, there you go. It works
All right,
better
Mike
if you say
Tyson.
it like Daffy Duck or something. A separate subscription.
You gotta talk
Um,
like Mike Tyson.
it's the same thing like on Apple. Spotify's talking about doing the same thing where you pay an additional fee, where it's more of like a donation, a monthly donation to your favorite podcaster or podcast um, platform or organization or whatever you want to call it, and that'll give you additional access. So the same way the same way that we have YouTube memberships where we can create additional content, kind of like a Patreon within a platform. That's kind of what these companies are leveraging for creators that do podcasts to start doing, right? And I'll be honest, I'm having a lot more fun in the conversations on a podcast than the videos that I've been making on YouTube. One, the algorithm on YouTube is just trash, and two, it's so natural just to have a conversation about these topics on a podcast. So
Yeah.
I
I'm looking at this thing and it says Apple is charging creators $25 per year to host paid content, and it's taking anywhere from 30 to 15% cut of the profit. Why? Like I get it.
I don't get it, and this is why I don't get it. Even the podcasts that are available for you to download and listen to on their network is not even on their network. Those podcasts are hosted somewhere else, and then it's fished through an RSS feed. So Apple's not really hosting anything.
Right. And I understand that, but you can find it on Apple. So even though they're not like to me, I think $25 for the year should be sufficient.
Yes.
25 bucks RSS feed. I'm doing all the work. You're just connected to it and just allowing it to play there.
Right.
Cool. But 15 to 30% cut of the profit after that is like, but why?
Yeah. It's the age-old argument when companies kept going back and forth about the iTunes App Store as well as the Google Play Store, right? And they were charging 30%. This was acceptable, 30 years ago when companies actually had to physically hold product in their inventory, right? Now, if they no longer have to physically hold product in their inventory, it shouldn't be 30%.
Mm-hmm.
Even 15% to me is high. I mean, do you imagine getting taxed 15% on everything that you did? Like the government doesn't even do that here. I mean, we're 13%, so it's kind of close, but
Still, it sucks, dude. It's like I don't get it. Well, I get why they're doing it, but I don't understand why they're doing it so high. And I guess it's because they can, but
I kind of feel that if they charged less, then most of these platforms have a way for creators to pay into an advertisement program where you get promoted on a platform. So if they were to charge less, then I feel like content creators would be more inclined to pay into an advertisement program
yeah.
on their platform. Like that makes more sense to me. That way you don't have to take 15 or 30% that you pay into and they get 100% of whatever you're paying for that advertisement campaign. That makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
Whatever. Well, however they choose to run their business is up to them and they don't care what anybody has to say.
Yeah, yeah. I get it.
Oh man. So apparently everybody and their grandma is trying to get into this podcast thing. So we had iTunes talking about how they wanted to get into this paid subscription place, and then Spotify jumped in, and then now Facebook is building its own in-app podcast player. I don't know. Facebook, okay, I get it. I get it. Facebook has to do everything in their power to try to keep everyone who's left on Facebook on Facebook. Oh,
Well, they have okay, so it seems like Facebook and Spotify have a partnership.
I think so. I don't know if they own Spotify or if Spotify is just a partner of theirs. I'm going to take a look real quick now.
It does. So right here it says Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg describes the Spotify partnership
Hmm.
as being primarily about music during the chat with platformer writer Casey Newton last week. But Spotify's release about its Facebook mini player today specifically calls out its use case for podcasts. So it seems like this podcast thing, it seems like this podcast thing is going to be the one that Spotify is doing their premium thing. I think they're going to be using some of that money to maintain this player for Facebook. Maybe, I don't know.
All right. So the article goes on to say Facebook is building its own in app podcast player. The company confirmed today this will be separate from its new in app Spotify player. What? Okay. Podcasters will be able to distribute their shows through Facebook pages and will opt into doing so. The exact product details are still unclear. It's possible this will operate through an RSS. Again, that's how most podcast information works. Or
Yeah.
that creators will have a backend way to upload their content to Facebook. This functionality is expected to roll out within the next few months. Hmm.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. There still is a lot of people that use Facebook. It's mind boggling to me, but they still do. And I've debated recently for business purposes if I should be opening up my Facebook account again. Like, not for personal. I feel like I should just be opening up for business purposes, because
Beyond the streams.
beyond the streams, I'll just open up a beyond the streams Facebook, and then I don't know. It's just, but personally, I can't stand using Facebook. I can't do it.
Why?
One, because the man's always trying to keep you down. They're always deleting posts. They're always hiding stuff. They're always deleting groups. They're always throwing you in jail. It's like you're in school and they just keep sending you to detention. It's like, what did I do now?
Mm-hmm. Good old Zuckerberg.
So I just feel like there's just too much control. But the problem is, all apps are coming to that point now too. It's not just Facebook, and they're getting a lot of political pressures.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what they do. It's interesting. I don't know if it's going to be maybe a whole separate player. It seems like it's going to be within Facebook, but then if you close the app, does it still play? I don't know. I guess it'll be something that
It'll probably be like their Messenger, how when like you can have those bubbles or whatever.
yeah. Yeah. I finally found a way to turn off those bubble things because it was annoying.
Yeah, they're pretty annoying. I do want to ask you guys out there, let me know how many of you guys are still using Facebook, and if you are, does this sound interesting to you? I guess if you are using Facebook and you use it consecutively, like religiously, then being able to do your podcasts and your social media browsing all through one app might be interesting. So you're not using multiple applications. But I'm really curious how many of you guys are still using Facebook for personal reasons, and how many of you guys might be just using it for business.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I still use it very rarely. Every now and then I'll jump on it, see what people are doing, but I hardly get in there, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so this was something kind of nuts. It was almost like a what the hell moment, I guess, but it was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Google Argentina's domain name was bought out by a web developer, and I think it says, well, let me get this right. I want to say that symbol sign,
That's pound.
that's pounds, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy bought the Google's Argentina's domain name for £2, which that translates to $2.78 in the good old US of A. Dude, somebody from Google is going to get fired.
He said he actually acquired it for 270 pesos, which makes it sound so much better.
Yeah. I was when you showed me this, I'm just like, wait, what?
Pesos. So the guy's name is Nicholas Corona. My Corona.
My
Age 30.
jabroni.
He said that he managed to buy the google.com.ar through a normal legal process. He quote, I never imagined that it was going to allow me to buy it. I mean, I'd probably be thinking the same thing. I'm like, this isn't going to work. There's no way this is going to work. I'm not going to own the Google website. And it blows my mind because usually domain names that have a high demand, they usually are artificially inflated to ridiculous prices, not $2.
Yeah. So
Google Argentina told
Argentina.
BBC for a short term the domain was acquired by someone else, which was Nicholas, and it had to regain control of the domain very quickly. The story started when Nicholas was at his desk on the outskirts of Buenos?
Oh,
Very.
Buenos Aires. Yeah.
On Wednesday night, designing a website for a client, he started getting messages on WhatsApp that Google was down. So he entered google.com.ar into his browser and it didn't work. He said, I thought something was strange was happening. He decided to go onto the Network Information Center, Argentina, NIC, the organization responsible for operating the .ar country code domains. He searched for Google and it popped up that it was available for purchase. Despite thinking it would not work, he followed the steps and then he received an email that the purchase with the purchase invoice. Nicholas shared the invoice with BBC. Google Argentina's domain name was acquired for 270 pesos. Said I was frozen, dumbfounded. He tapped on the google.ar, google.com.ar into his search bar and pressed entered. And he goes, my personal data appeared, he said.
So I was reading a little bit more below that, and it says Google took it back. It says that, he says that the domain name that they took it back almost right away after he purchased it, but he never got his money back.
His 270 pesos?
Yeah, he never got it back.
Yo, Google's straight bullying everybody out here.
I know. He says Google didn't get in touch and that he wasn't paid. Google has yet to clear up how they got their domain back also. You know, this to me, if I have a receipt and this says I own this, my transaction went through, here's my receipt, and all of a sudden I lost it and it's gone.
That's stealing.
Dude, that is a major lawsuit.
I don't care if it's 270 pesos. I don't care if you owned it for 30 years. It's a legal process. He followed a legal process and fair and square. He owns it. They can't just pull the rug out from underneath him.
Yeah. No, if I was him, I would go after I would get a really good lawyer and be like, "Look, we're about to get paid. I have receipts for all this stuff and they took it away. I never got refunded. I never got a sorry we messed up email. I never got this as an error. No, they took the domain back and they kept my money so far, even though it's only $2. Whatever.
That's crazy. That is
His $2 is about to make him a billionaire.
Well, the whole .com bubble was people purchasing domain names and selling it for a ridiculous amount of monies. Like millionaires were made out of this same thing that we're seeing right here. And he has the right.
Yeah.
Like I would find myself, okay, listen, if you are a lawyer and you're looking for a nice paycheck, you guys need to contact Nicholas Corona and be like, listen, I will represent you and we will split it when the case is done. Okay, simple. You guys are going to make millions off this.
This is insane.
That's crazy.
I am dumbfounded right now. Like, I just can't believe they literally took this away from him. And dude, like, if you think about it, if you're just like, oh, let me just search if google.com.ca is available. I don't know what it is in Canada. I'm just making it up.
Yeah.
But let's just say that you somehow purchased the Canadian one.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm going to put an ad pop up, like a small little ad pop up at the bottom. So every time somebody goes to Google Canada, a little ad pops up and I get like a penny for every single one. Dude, there's millions of people that use this thing. So if you're getting a penny per person,
right,
per day,
right,
are you kidding me? You're like, you'll be stupid rich. And yeah, dude, it's almost like, what do you do? Like, do you go there and you tell them like, hey, I technically own this, so sure, I'll sell it to you, but I need a 30% royalty for you guys using my domain.
Royalties make you rich, man. But you and I own websites, right? And every time you purchase a new domain, I actually purchased a new domain this week, but every time you purchase a new domain, it always asks you, would you like this to be an auto renewal? You're gonna tell me Google can't afford to do an auto renewal? They can't afford not to do an auto renewal.
Yep.
It's so basic. It's crazy. Like Google's got their different websites on all different countries. You're not going to remember everything. You got to set these things to auto renewal and just match up your invoices. That like it's simple business. You got billions of people that work for you, Google. Come on. Get your act together.
That's what I'm saying. Whoever was in charge of this is getting fired.
But, it if you're looking for someone that's a little bit more competent to hire, I think the next article might be someone to invest in.
Then that's a good segue.
Right? We've had some very very interesting conversations with different companies that we brought on, that have been in the senior retirement industry. Looking at what was it, Rendeavor. Rendeavor was great. So Rendeavor was a company, or is a company, that builds VR capabilities, headsets, and experiences for people that are a little bit older. Maybe they need that social aspect of it, maybe some entertainment, or maybe even that little bit of mental stimulation. Well, this guy, this grandson, inventive grandson, builds a Telegram messaging machine for his 96-year-old grandmother. Now, I need you guys to understand this because you guys are listening on the podcast, most likely. But if you don't see what this thing looks like, this thing looks like it's from like the 1970s. It's a case with the old school mic jacks and a big red button that looks like it came off an Atari controller. Like this thing is straight crazy. So it's got a little printing slot where it can print out the messages that you receive, and it's got a little microphone and a red button. So you push the red button, you talk into the microphone, and it actually sends that as a voice note through Telegram to one of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, looks like 7 predetermined contacts that are on the actual Telegram. He calls it a yayagram box. And then if they decide to text you back through Telegram, text grandma back, it actually prints it out and she can read it. So she doesn't need to use a smartphone. This is like bridging the gap between last century and this century.
Mhm.
This is crazy. Like this is amazing. I could see, you know what? I could see retirement homes using this in like their community room. If somehow they could change up those predetermined names so that people could sign it out or sign it in or whatever it is, and they could use it to communicate with their family members, I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's absolutely nuts that he was able to connect this with a messaging app like Telegram and make it completely analog. Like that's next level stuff to me.
So it has here. So you got two little blue stickers, and actually, if you could add to my screen, I could show you guys. Anybody's watching the video. Um, it has Irene Beatrice blue, so I don't know if that means they're her kids or something. Maria Anna Lucia, maybe their kids. And then Manuel and Francisco, maybe the babies. I don't know, cousins, something. I don't know, but they're color coded, and it's kind of cool. It looks like you just push this button, you talk to it. Looks like it's connected to something, and that's pretty much it. And then you get a little paper here, and it gives you your printed stuff. So it looks like a big box here. I'll open up where is the thing at? Here we go. It looks like a giant box, and it definitely looks like it's connected to something.
Interesting.
So it's crazy. It's absolutely insane what he did. But this just shows you like there's all types of people out there that know how to do this type of stuff.
So the
So
creator says to send a new voice message, you need to first choose the destination grandchild.
Mm.
The selection is made by using a jack connector like the one that you saw in the picture. It kind of connects to the main port, and then you connect the other end to whatever grandchild you want to talk to. So apparently those are different grandchilds. Maybe they're from different ones of her kids.
Yeah. So blue is probably one of her kid, green's one of the other kid, and then black is one of the other kids. So she probably has 3 kids, and these are their grandchildren.
And you know what? This is brilliant because when my grandmother was still around, she would, when she wanted to yell at one of like my brothers or myself, she would start at the oldest kid's name and she would work her way all the way down until she got to my name. So I guess this kind of helps with the color coding. It associates with not just the name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, black for you're the black child.
Black sheep, black sheep. Let's not make this a race thing.
Oh, black sheep. My bad. Did I just say black child? Someone's gonna get pissed now. Black sheep. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's nuts. It's pretty cool how they did it. I think this is awesome. I love it. Like I wonder how they're gonna use this type of technology in the future for other things.
It'd be kind of
First, I know
cool.
when you told me, I was like Telegram. Telegram. I thought it was like the one that you push in and sends the electrical currents. I'm like, maybe he's talking about that, and then you're like, no, 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 like the Telegram app. It's like, oh
I'm
crap.
really surprised that he didn't add a webcam to this. So like and send it through Snapchat or something. Or like TikTok.
Oh, I know. I know. Get somebody in trouble. So YouTube will no longer let creators, or I should say this, YouTube will now let, not no longer. YouTube will now let creators change their name, profile picture without affecting their Google account. So YouTube verified accounts will lose their verification badge if they change their name. I guess I never changed my name once I got verified, but when I got verified on my channel, it was verified and it's it, but I never tested this theory out. But that's kind of dumb though. If you're verified and if you decide to change something, I don't know, it doesn't make sense why, like, because most people.
Look, it's Google. So when I read this article, the title, the first thing that came to my mind was thank God. Because this whole thing with how you have to change your profile information and the information that you have linked to your YouTube was all because of Google Plus.
Yeah.
You remember that? How terrible Google Plus was? And like
Mhm.
all of that, all those, it was supposed to be intertwined with your Google information and your YouTube information. And it was such a painstaking process to even change your icon, even. Like, you know how many people we have to walk through how to change your Google icon when it comes to YouTube?
Yeah. Or even actually, like when you create a second account under the same main one, it's like, how do I add another account?
Yeah.
And then once you create another account, how do I change my profile picture or edit the name or edit? Because I have a couple YouTube accounts, and every time I have to make another one, or when I do make another one, I'm like, how do I do this again? And I got to Google it again, search for it or something, and then there it is. And then later on, I'm just like, I don't know what I'm like. You know what? I don't like this name. I'm gonna call it something else.
Mhm.
Like my Rojas Streaming Tech. It used to be called Streaming Box now, and I changed the name to Rojas Streaming Tech. And I remember I had to search for that. I'm like, how the hell do I change the name of this thing? I don't get it.
But every other platform out there, when it comes to any kind of social media, it's always as simple as clicking on the profile picture and then it says, what would you like? And then you
Mm-hmm.
select which one you want and you're done. That's how easy it is. Google or YouTube, why you got to be so difficult?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't understand it. Like, it would send you over to somewhere on Google and then you would have to sign into your account and then you would have to change the information outside of YouTube in order for your information on YouTube to be. It didn't make any sense. But
Yeah.
YouTube, like, I don't know. I have a very, very strong hate love relationship with YouTube. So any kind of small improvements, I'm like, yay!
Yeah. You did it.
Right?
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, it's to me it's dumb, and the thing is that they change their stuff so much, it gets complicated. Like right here, it says creators can now change their name and profile picture. You head to YouTube Studio. Once there, head to the customization option from the sidebar on the left of the screen. Creators then can change their profile picture under the branding tab and can change their name under the basic info tab. It's like, can't you just like, hey, I need to update my profile. Send me off to Google, and right there I could change my name and my picture. That's
Nah,
how it
man.
was before. Why you gotta make it so complicated?
It should be even easier when you click on your profile on the top right when you're signed in as Google, like on Google, right? There's a settings button there. You should just be able to go to settings and change it, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to understand what YouTube Studio is, but everyone should have some kind of icon when they're browsing YouTube. Not everyone's a creator, but when you're chatting, it's good to show an icon. You know what I mean? Like people want to have a little bit of personality, but they're not going to understand that they have to go to Studio. Studio for what?
Yes.
It says this new feature was apparently highly requested from one of YouTube's creators and reportedly started rolling out on April 22nd. The feature is available to both personal and brand accounts on the video sharing social media platform. Recently, YouTube also added a checks feature and verifies copyrighted information before any content is uploaded. Now, I don't know. We've been uploading a lot of videos, and this check thing is weird. Sometimes before it's finished, it'll say one thing found, and I'm like, "What? What did you find in me talking about a podcast or a conversation, trying to copyright my voice?" And then it finally finishes, and it's like, "You're good." And I'm like, "So what did you find?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they also made those changes with the moderator. Now we're seeing these fake Google moderators showing up in our chats saying this was deleted by the Google moderator team. What is that crap?
Yeah. Who are you? I'm an approved moderator. I don't approve your message.
Right,
it, they're just they need to go back and leave it how it was like 5 years ago. You know, I get it, the whole thing that they lost sponsorships are trying to make money back and they're trying to do all that stuff, but they've butchered. They haven't really improved it. They've made it so like they've made YouTube a stressful place to be at now. Like even when you're searching, like, hey, let me search for the best cell phone out there for 2021, or
right,
what cell phone's good for underwater. Sometimes those search just sucks. It doesn't give you, and it's all clickbait.
right.
It'll be like stuff that's like not even related. I forget what I searched for how to add a Fire Stick to my stereo, my Pioneer stereo head unit, and it was like how to jailbreak your Fire Stick. I'm like, wait a minute, isn't that a term that you probably shouldn't even say because you're gonna get deleted or
Demonetized
booted or
or
demonetized? But yet
deleted.
that's the number one option. And then the second video, Electrical MD, best movies and TV shows for free. I'm like, how does this what does this have to do with a stereo for a car head unit? I even put down my stereo head unit, Pioneer DMH 8600, like I put the whole name in there, how to connect a Fire Stick to it, you know, and then I deleted the whole Fire Stick and I put that, and then I put customizations or tips and tricks, and nothing. I couldn't find a video. Like I literally, I think I ran into a video um that's what I needed the information on, and it wasn't even the full video of this is how you do it. It was just like here's some of the stuff that you could plug in and what you can do with it. But it took me a while. I'm just like, dude, your guys' thing sucks, man.
You know, it's because their AI, their algorithm, their recommendations is on steroids. It's like we're gonna recommend you stuff that you are typically watching, not what you want
Mhm.
to watch. You're stuck in this circle, you're stuck in this bubble, and that's why there's some channels that consecutively get views because they're in that circle, right? And then there's ones that are outside of what you usually watch, and it's content that you're actually looking for, and you can't find it. Like there's over a billion YouTube channels out there, and what you scroll through what you search, you'll maybe see like 30 videos. There is hundreds and hundreds and thousands of videos made specifically about the content that you're looking for that you'll probably never see in a search result. It's ridiculous, absolutely nuts, drives me
Yeah.
crazy. But as a content creator, I will continue to make videos personally because I like it,
Mhm.
not because I get views, not because I get subscribers, but for the ones that do find me, they seem to enjoy it and I enjoy making it, and that's the bottom line. Like, YouTube's not a platform for me personally where I'm going to be like, I'm going to drop a video and everybody's going to watch it. To me, I'm like, I'm going to drop a video cuz I had fun making it, and the couple people in my circle that watch it, they're going to enjoy it, they're going to say something cool. That's it. It is what it is. Like, I've accepted that YouTube is a monopoly and they crush creators, and it is what it is.
Yeah, serious. Horrible. It's they don't, I don't know. They need to be better. They need to be better at what it is, because it sucks, you know?
Maybe they need a button like an I'm lucky what's it called when you search something and it has that lucky button and it pulls up like a random thing that isn't typically something you would click on. Have you ever
Mm,
seen that? It's not on YouTube, but I mean like some search browsers have this lucky button and it'll pull up a random search result for you.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know how to fix YouTube anymore. I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode of our weekly tech news and updates and stuff. Lots of stuff happens all the time. So I hope you guys are keeping up with us. Anything you got to say before we get out of here?
Hey, like I said in the beginning of this, I've been reading some of the reviews that we have that's going on the podcast. Want to say thanks to all you guys who left us a review on whatever platform you guys are listening to us on. It's awesome reading them, but it's even better because it helps other users like yourself or other listeners like yourself find the content, enjoy the conversations, take part in the conversations through the comments, the live streams that we have every week as well too. So make sure that you leave us a like, a comment, a review on all the different platforms. And make sure you check out the links in the description because we always leave some good ones for you as well.
Absolutely. Cool. And with all that being said, hope you guys have appreciated this one. Make sure you guys stay tuned to the next episode, because you never know who's going to be here. And we'll see you guys soon.